Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Dave, aka Captain Nebula, and today we're going to play some Endless Legend, a very fun fantasy slash sci-fi 4X turn-based strategy game. So it kind of plays like a board game, but with all your favorite strategy elements: expansion, exploration, extermination, exploitation. That's what the 4X stands for, I believe. I love the art style of this game. The music, it's the whole thing is just very enjoyable to play. I included the cutscene because it gives a great little preview of some of the art and visuals we'll encounter as we play the game. Let's dive right in. We'll start a new game. I have been waffling back and forth between playing Broken Lords and just choosing a random faction. I think I'm going to do random. Random lots of stuff. Just to kind of keep the playthrough interesting and surprising for myself. Because a lot of the times, as fun as this game is, sometimes it follows kind of a set template depending on the empire you choose, and I would like to just be kind of kept on my toes a little bit in terms of the story of the faction we play and some of the quests we receive, and so forth. Your setup screen for a new game is very strategy game standard. You can choose the number of empires in the game, difficulty of the game, game speed, world size, shape, continent shape, temperature, topography, world difficulty, etc. And then you can choose the actual factions, the factual ones. Oh, that was rough. I'm sorry for that. And the colors of the players, etc. I've kept most of it random, again, just so I can have some spontaneity to my reactions to certain world events. I'm going to play on easy because usually I play on normal and lose hard. If this was Henry V, the French would have won at Agincourt. I've never seen that before. That's pretty funny. What does it say about normal? If the British had been like this, the US would still be a colony? Well, that's true. Hard, every battle will feel like the bulge. Serious, so this is what it felt like to go up against Attila and Genghis Khan. Impossible, if this was Leonidas, he might have won at Thermopylae. Endless, you shall not pass. Newbie, a houseplant could beat it at chess. Well, we'll stick with easy. We'll be the French at Agincourt in this scenario. The actual empires or civilizations each have very different playstyles. There aren't a whole lot of them, but they are all very different. The Wild Walkers have a kind of a neat relationship with nature. The Broken Lords don't harvest food, and they tend to get more of a dust advantage than other civilizations. I guess I should mention dust is like this game's version of gold. It's the precious currency that everyone wants. And your resources you're trying to gather are food, industry, dust, science, and influence. So with those 5 resources, you're trying to expand your empire via any type of peaceful or warlike means that seem attractive to you as the leader of your empire. So with everything set at random, pretty much, we're just going to jump right into the game and see what we find. Here we go. Kind of a neat little epic poem that zips through as the loading screen gets going. Drink some of my coffee here. That was pretty metal. I'm going to turn up the sound here. I apologize for the low volume there. So it looks like we are playing... Well, first of all, we've encountered the Empire of Angratod. Peace be to you. Very good, very good. So let's take a look at our empire. We are the Ardent Mages. The primary power of these sorcerers comes from their anger. Having survived a long history of slaughter and starvation, the powers that they discovered and that permitted them to survive were those based on dust magic, agony, and rage. So they sort of deify pain, I guess, and suffering as their preferred method of ascendance or transcendence. Very interesting. I don't know that I've played this civilization before, so this will be something of a learning experience. Hang on, I'm going to turn up the sound a little bit here. That should be a little better. Alright, so let's take a look at our starting army. We, of course, have our settler and a couple of infantry units. The Telsum Warlock. They have Ardent Fire, Fast Attack Speed, and Sweep Strike. My hero is Zarka Atinul, a ranged hero. Let's see. So, if you haven't played a turn-based strategy game before, but you have played Settlers of Catan, that's probably the best way to look at this, is just a very, very complex digital board game with gameplay similar to Catan. You try and settle areas with colonies or cities, connect them with roads, gather resources. Of course, the difference between this and Catan is you also try and build armies and perform diplomacy with other factions in the form of bribes, pacification quests, outright warfare, of course. And the theme in Catan, the theme in Endless Legend is very sci-fi fantasy heavy. So obviously the comparisons with Catan are pretty superficial, but that's a good starting place to compare this game to if you've never played a strategy game like this. I'm going to turn on the FIDSI tile output, food, industry, dust, science, influence, so I can see what every tile nearby will produce in terms of resources. The red cog icons are industry. The gold coins are dust. The blue atoms are science. The wheat icon is food, of course. Influence is produced inside cities, so we don't produce that until we have a city or a colony ever. Where should we build? This is probably actually a pretty decent spot because it outputs quite a lot of food. Our city will be a 7-hex circle. The center hex and then the 6 surrounding hexes. So if I just tell our settler to colonize here, that would give us 7 dust output, 6 food output, 7 industry output, and 1 science output. I can't say that I know whether this empire is any good at the scientific side of things. They might just be way more militant and focused on sorceries that can perform with enough dust accumulation. That's my inclination, is that they don't use a lot of science, so they don't need a lot of science. So I'm just going to go with that gut feeling. We'll see if I'm right or wrong after a little while. But let's just put our city right here. Typically, the best spot you're going to find for a while is the one that your starting army starts on. So we'll just build a city right here. I'll turn off the tile output card. Graphic style, as you can see, is pretty sweet. The kind of miniature depth of field effect on the game board is very appealing. So now that we've built our city, of course, we're in our city screen, and down in the lower left you can see here's the selection of buildings and units that we can produce with the city. We could create some more Warlocks. We could build a Founders Memorial, which would give us extra resource gathering. That will cost 30 industry. And you can see we're right now creating a total of 8 industry per turn. So about 4 turns it would take, to build a Founders Memorial. I'm going to go ahead and do that just so we kind of get our city off to a good start. So in 4 turns, our Founders Memorial will be built, and that'll give us extra resource gathering per turn. Our population... looks like in 2 turns we will increase our population size by 1, and our population gets slotted into the various resources here. The more population you have on a given resource, the more of that resource you'll produce per turn. Pretty simple. Let's create also 1 more Warlock. We may need it for some treasure quests in the early game. That'll take 9 turns to complete. And in the meantime, let's just kind of use our starting army units, our hero and our 2 Warlocks, and just kind of explore the area. We can see glowing temple ruins right here. We'll just send them to explore that. So we send it next to that temple ruins tile. It gives us the option to search those ruins. Looks like we found some luxury resources. 5 glass steel. Sprouting in tangled fronds, the vines, when heated in sealed vats with sundry chemicals, can be drawn out into incredibly strong filaments that have myriad uses, such as garroting wire. Apropos for the suffering desired by the Ardent Mages. Alright, so we explored our first ruins. Looks like we still have a couple of action points left for this army. We moved 2 tiles, we can move 2 more. So we'll just go off in this direction towards this border here, and that should do it for this turn. Actually, no, it won't, because we need to select something to research. As you can see in the upper corner here, we don't have any research selected. So we'll go to our research tab, and there are, I believe, 4 different eras of research. Yes, and you can progress to the next era by researching, I think, 8 technologies of your current era. The blue circles are those that I've already researched as a starting bonus for this civilization. Let's see. Those have to do with Empire and Expansion. So that tells me if I have 2 Empire and Expansion technologies already researched, that's probably my strength as the Ardent Mages. So maybe I'll do 1 more Empire and Expansion technology and 1 more military expansion technology, or excuse me, military technology, and we'll move forward with that. Sewer system improves city happiness. Search party, language square. I'll do language square. That'll help me interact more thoroughly with various major and minor factions I encounter. Gives the option to parley with them, bribe them, pacify them. Kind of gives us lots more options in terms of assimilating other factions that we come across. And then let's research the Ateshi Zealot. Looks like a ranged unit. I'm all about those ranged units. So we've got 2 text queued up now. That's enough for now. We can go back to our main screen and end the turn. And we have our first quest. Embers. Slain, my brother, Verda Abaz, high sunseeker of the mighty Al-Rubit clan, is slain, struck down by unseen hands, and the cushion plumpers, the soft-bellied priests and commanders who buzz around the Southshant like flies around dung, they whisper in his ear that my hand played a part in his death. Thus I, Zorabaz, had no choice but to flee. What dark magics my brother entwined himself with, I do not know. But what I know is that his loyalty to our people, to our gods, was beyond reproach. That whatever path he'd set himself upon was one for the glory and protection of our people. I swear, as the stars are my witness, I will find the perpetrator and inflict on them the ultimate penance. And more than this, I will discover my brother's quest. His work will not die. We will stand united, the fiery branches lashing our bare backs, and revel in the ecstasy. Who will join me? So, every quest you get for your faction certainly has a taste of the melodramatic. But I love that there's this story element to the strategy game. Typically, you used to get that only in like special scenario modes for different strategy games, but in this, it's just kind of embedded into the gameplay organically. That your civilization has set characters and players and quest lines that kind of take you on a journey as you play the game. And it doesn't vary much from what I know from game to game, but it does kind of focus the gameplay a little bit and keep it from being a lot of times the more aimless structure that you see in games like Civilization or that sort of thing. It's kind of a tightly focused way of playing a strategy game, which I enjoy. So, the summary of that quest: try to bring together your followers and the faithful after the events of your brother's death. So, what that means in objective terms: parley with at least 2 villages to gain more information about your brother's death. The reward for that will be 15 titanium. I'm very glad now that I researched the technology we will need to parley with other villages, so very cool. Let's continue moving into the next realm here. There's a village, so let's go back to our research tab here quickly. Language Square has 4 turns left. At that point, we'll be able to parley with any villages we come across. So we have to wait at least 4 turns to be able to do anything quest related. We got 3 turns left before our memorial is done, 8 before our warlock is done. We're producing quite a lot of dust per turn. That's a good thing. We have 1 turn left till our population increase. We'll probably put that increase towards industry. Industry will help us build up an empire plan and get certain faction-specific bonuses as we play through our quests. It's called the Empire Plan mechanic. Actually, if I go to our Empire screen here, here's our Empire Plan. And you can see there's the influence resource icon here. As we acquire influence influence points, in about 8 turns, our Empire Plan will mature, and we can choose to move our empire focus towards science and industry, towards empire and expansion, towards economy and population, or towards the military. And each push in any of these directions will cost influence points, but it will give us bonuses in terms of perhaps technologies will cost less for that type of direction, or we gather more resources for a given direction. You'll kind of see what I mean as we go that route in about 8 turns. But it's nice to have a little bit of a stockpile of influence points for that first Empire Plan. Not a lot else to do this turn, so we'll just end and move on to the next. Our population has grown thanks to our food harvesting. We'll put that worker into influence, as I mentioned we would. So now we're producing 3 influence points per turn. Sounds great. We'll end the turn again. Well, we'll explore with our army a little bit. Let's move up here. Encountered a new faction, Sertan. Sort of an insect people, looks like. Best described as arachnoid centaurs. Subterranean people tending to white hair and pale skin. They prefer to feed on warm-blooded prey, but can survive on cold-blooded beasts or insectoids. Cool. Do we actually see where their village is? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I have my 2 villages figured out for my quest when we have our language square technology. End our turn. We're 1 turn away from Founders Memorial. Sorry, my voice is a little dry this morning. A little bit early, not a big deal. Language square is 2 turns away. So let's explore up this way just a bit. And it looks like we're getting close to winter. The seasons, if you look down here, there's a snowflake and the number 1 through 10. That indicates that winter will begin in not less than 1 turn, but no more than 10. So winter is coming. And winter just means fewer resources are produced per tile, and your visibility is reduced. So it's sort of just a seasonal gameplay change. Affects the mechanics a little bit. Excuse me. It's not a huge deal, but it's something to keep in mind as you play forward. Let's search this ruins. We have a new quest, Relic of the Past. Keeping the Empire secure includes paying attention to the tales of travelers and vagabonds. You hear of a place full of artifacts from the ancient days, and you have heard it enough times that it may not be idle boasting or mindless babbling. That point on the map bears investigation. Search the ruins and unearth secrets of the past. Within 5 turns, search for a relic at the unspoiled ruins illuminated by rays of dust. And it's an unknown reward. Which ruins are they talking about? I do not see any. Perhaps they just mean these? Must be those. We'll assign them to go there. 1 turn left for Founders Memorial. Should be 1 turn left for Language Square. 2 turns. So we'll end the turn. Founders Memorial is done. Next up is we'll build that Warlock unit. So no management needed there. We'll end our turn again and explore those ruins. Language Square. Research is complete. And we'll next research our Zealot unit. Let's explore these ruins. 10 gold. Flaunting a lustrous golden hue and impervious to the ravages of water and air, gold is a true king of the elements and an essential commodity for moving beyond the barter system. Not sure what I'll do with that resource yet, but we've leveled up our hero with all that exploring. We have a little skill tree for our hero, so there's sort of an RPG element to the play here. Excuse me. Defensive skill. Exploration bonus. And if we choose to have this hero govern a city rather than lead an army, we can give them bonuses for that. I'm thinking we'll go the defensive route, because for the foreseeable future, this hero will be leading an army, primarily for Empire expansion, not necessarily for exploration or diplomacy. So we'll go that way. Let me review my quests here. Oh, they're up there. It's the ones we already visited? That doesn't make any sense. Now I might miss out on that quest because I wasted a couple turns going to the wrong set of ruins, but oh well. Move on to our next turn here. Empire plan is coming in 3 turns. Save influence points if you intend to implement critical policies. We have 17 influence points and we're getting 4 per turn. So we should be able to adopt a pretty significant empire plan when that rolls around. I believe you spend them in increments of 10. So if I have at least 20, I should be able to get a pretty decent empire plan. Again, we'll see how that works when it comes to it. We'll continue to move our army towards the designated ruins. Another minor faction encountered. The Nydia. Though bird-like in their appearance, the Nydia are closer to humanoid than one might think. The young are birthed, not hatched. And like other advanced peoples, their habitats are carefully chosen for defense, foraging, and observation. That's a pretty cool design. I love the artwork in this game. It's so well thought out. Giant bird man with a sword. More man than bird. Very interesting. Population evolution. Excellent. Let's go to our city and assign that population member to... Oh, let's get a leg up on the dust pile. Now we're producing 30 per turn. Next population increase will probably keep that unit working on food. 2 turns till our warlock is done being built. I think we can queue up a burrow, which will expand our city borders, our city size, and help us accumulate even more resources per turn. I think we'll do that. And we'll put it here. 5, 2, and 7. 5, 2, and yeah, we'll put it right here. Get a leg up on industry, which should help us as we start to build up our army size. Industry is a useful resource for unit creation and building creation, so I can see that being a very good thing. Otherwise, if we go to our research screen, we have 2 turns left until our zealot is done being researched. Let's queue up another tech. Military science. Mercenaries. We'll unlock the mercenary market. If our dust production keeps going up the way it has been, we may be able to more quickly acquire military units through the mercenary marketplace than if we just produce them ourselves. I feel good about that. Alright, we'll end our turn there. And let's move our army once again. Had to go around the cliff face there, so that wasted a couple tiles in movement. May not be able to get to that temple ruins in time to complete that quest. That's annoying. End our turn there too, so we should have a couple things done in production by now. Yep, our zealot is done being researched. Mercenary market is next. And our warlock is done. Burrow is next. And we did fail that quest. We didn't get to temple ruins in time. I'm a little bit salty about that. Poopy. They deceived me. Well, now it's time to parley with other civilizations because our language square technology is done. So we'll backtrack a little bit here towards There's these other factions. Hopefully learn something about my brother's death. Alright, it's time for an empire plan. So we have 30 influence points. But here's basically the way this works. I can choose which direction I want to move my empire's ideology, essentially. If I spend 10 influence points, I can get +2 vision on all my units. That is the only benefit I can get in this category right now. I have to have unlocked Era 2 technologies to be able to see my next bonus. So there's a little bit of an incentive to move forward with research. I have 30 points to spend, so I could get 3 of these 4 bonuses. I think I will increase economy and population. Gives us +3 dust per population unit on my cities. And I'm going to push into military, which gives us a 20% unit cost reduction in industry on all of my cities. So we'll apply that plan. Excellent. We're back down to 0 influence, but we are producing 4 per turn. We should have enough to spend by the time the next empire plan matures. Let's parley with this faction. New quest added, Snark and Awe. This minor faction seems surprisingly dismissive of your power, given that they are pathetic in comparison to your lordly brilliance. Perhaps if other peoples had the same excellent opinion of you that you have of yourself, diplomatic efforts would go more smoothly. To pacify the Nydia in Uarden, awe those village fools with the glory of your empire. Colonize the region of Uarden. So we will need a settler to do that. We will get 10 Moonleaf as a reward. As it is a mild stimulant, when Moonleaf extract is added to city water supplies, the population's productivity levels rise significantly. Said to boost speed and clarity of thought in particular, it is known for its effect on researchers. So, our new objective, our new quest, is to colonize that region. We have fulfilled one of 2 objectives for our initial quest. So we will next want to head over to this faction and parley with them. Meanwhile, our new quest indicates that this white-bordered region here can be colonized. So maybe we start creating a new colony unit, new settler unit, and get on that. It'll take 12 turns till it's done. Maybe we can shorten that by just buying out the production. That would cost 348 gold at this stage, but as turns progress, the cost goes down. As the time required in turns to produce the unit goes down, the cost in gold to just buy it outright also goes down. So maybe that's an option at some point. Alright, we have 2 tiles left to move. Let's head back over to this other faction here. And once we've fulfilled that part of the quest, when we have parleyed with 2 minor factions, then I think we'll call it good for this episode. We'll end the turn. It's been quite some time since you activated a pillar. You have the resources to activate one. Pillars. This is a mechanic of which I'm not aware. Where do I do that? I'm not sure how I activate pillars. Maybe that's something to research for the next episode. We have the resources to activate a pillar. I'm assuming just some sort of bonus, resource gathering bonus that lasts for a certain amount of turns. I could be totally wrong about that. Well, it's nice that the game can still catch me unawares with certain mechanics. Let's continue to move forward. Counter the Empire of One Claw. Your presence is welcome. May you grow prosperous and fat. Just a little parasitic looking. We'll dismiss that notification for now. They'll probably actually be the first major faction with whom we go to war. Nothing else going on this turn, I think. We're still producing the burrow. Research still 4 turns away, so we will end the turn there. And there's winter. The dark season has begun. Moderate. In winter, life and movement are more difficult, so we can't move as far with our units. We lose an action point. 1 less food and dust production per tile. And less vision for cities and units. We've received a message from another empire. Your wisdom in facing adversity with calm strength is admirable. We rejoice that you are counted among the peaceful empires. Well, that's good to know. Haven't offended this dude yet. As you can see, the terrain and the lighting changes to reflect the winter season. Let's parley with this faction. Completed objective. We parleyed with at least 2 villages to gain information about your brother's death. There are rumors of rogue troops nearby. Go search the ruins marked by the rays of dust. That location is here. Encounter a new tribe, the Saratin, who wish to live in peace. There's only one way to do this in a world like Araga. Patrol the region with troops and drive out enemy armies. So we have 5 turns to make sure that there are no enemies in that region. No enemies in their home region of Davenor. We also have to go search these temple ruins. So 2 quests now active that we finished our first quest. And we also have the quest of colonizing this unnamed black border region right here. So plenty to do in our next episode, I guess. But that will do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying the episodes. Next time we'll have 2 or 3 quests to get on and hopefully find out some more of the backstory of the Ardent Mages. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.